All right, I will call this meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Express Times and Star Gazette, satisfying the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act. If we could please stand for a silent prayer and flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do I have a motion to pay the bills presented in proper form, signed by the director of each department and approved by a majority of the members listed on the bill list?
Okay, who signed Frank's bill?
Frank signed his already.
Okay. And I know those have been.
I'll make the motion.
And I will second it. Okay, Black?
I'm going to abstain just so I'm going.
Okay. Van Loo? Yes. Van Gelly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes. Okay, any public comment on agenda items? Seeing none. The attorney is not here this evening, but he did send a written report that I'm sure, did everyone have a chance to review that? Really just the gist of it is we do have a couple executive item discussions that we need to discuss. We also have the TCI meeting was this morning. Were you at that, right, Dave?
I was
okay. Okay.
It went very well, I thought.
Okay, that's good. A couple other executive session items. I understand the back and forth for the mediation with Dave and Mary with the railroad. They have not gotten a date for you yet?
I haven't heard anything.
Well, the email we had was that the dates that we were available, evidently they weren't available, and it's going to be rescheduled for some time in September.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good because I'm going to be gone for next week.
Okay. We have the Highlands ordinances, which I believe there's some clarification of language we need. And the last thing was Kevin, Gwen, and I had discussion about the Starbucks. They wanted to open a little bit quicker, but they didn't have lighting, so we opted against giving them the opening without having lighting due to the liability issue. If the town were to give exterior lighting, correct, Gwen, for the parking lot? Yeah. And I think what they said, what they say, most 2 weeks, but we have no control then if it's over 2 weeks, and then, God forbid, something happens.
Well, the good news is they got an emergency light pole. Found them someplace and went and picked them up. So they actually are going to install them tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And asked us to do a final inspection tomorrow afternoon, and then they are planning to open on Saturday the 22nd.
Of August. Wow. That is very quick. So they've already hired people? Wow.
I'm worried about the lights. I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know about the distribution of the coffee.
What time is your inspection tomorrow?
I'll probably wait to hear from them.
Okay. Cool. All right.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, that works out
They're
good.
going to have the light.
You know,
Yeah, they were supposed to have everything scheduled for tomorrow.
We'll have to get the rock on board.
Yeah. And he's got everything scheduled.
cool. All right, well, we will segue right into your report then, Gwen.
Okay, let's see, restoration of Foch Boulevard. We have all of our contract documents back from Top Line Construction, and we'll be having a pre-construction meeting in early September, and we'll be starting work on that probably towards the middle of the month. We estimated it to take about a month to do.
They'll get it done before bad weather.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, it should only take a month at most. So, and they pave up in December even. Usually.
that's if there's any milling they do, let me know.
They are going to be doing milling.
Yeah, let me know. We will take milling either here or there or somewhere. That's true. All right.
Right. And we had master locators go out to the Still Valley Arch today to do some vacuum cores. I had sent them some photos of the site, but once they got out there and got their truck on top of the arch, they realized it was way too steep and unsafe for them to go down. So we did have them do one core at the top just so we could see where the liner was. And it is down about 10 feet, which is what the case plan had shown. And then we had them look into the piping, and we did find that they had installed the dry wells and the outside piping, but they couldn't do anything to locate the rest. So I still don't know anything about the liners, and the two men that were there were going to go back to their company and see if they could come up with some other way to do it. It's just, I really am not familiar with any piece of equipment that could get there from the outside, like from the ground level, to be able to dig and locate it from, behind the head walls. And other than excavating the whole top off again, it's just too steep and too high to drive down. So we'll see if they can come up with anything else.
If they need to leave anything over there on site, just let me know. They can leave it there on my property if they got equipment.
Oh, okay. They just drove in one truck that had everything hooked up to it and took it with them. Drove back. The wastewater management plan, I reviewed that, made the changes similar to comments that the township has made in the past, most having to do with the $20,000 or 20,000 gallon per day, what they consider a discrepancy in allocation that we have with Phillipsburg. It's always been Cohasset stance that we have that. It's very clear in our contract with Phillipsburg, and we have an agreement with Lopatcong that we have 20,000 gallons of their allocation. So I changed the wording to reflect that, and Kevin had sent a letter to them in that regard, and they have agreed to leave it the way that we suggested without saying that we think there's a discrepancy, because we're very clear that there's not.
That's
and then
good.
there will be notices given, and Lopatcong and Phillipsburg will have a chance to comment on our plan if they want to disagree with the allocation that we have listed in that. So we'll see where that goes. And then we do have those three ordinances, sewer ordinance and two others that need to be adopted before we can get our wastewater management plan finalized.
What do you think the time? You have any idea what the time frame will be down at the DEP, or it's kind of?
Now, I was talking to the people at the Highlands, and they said they just do what they want, and there's been no consistency with the review, like with the time that they take on it. So I really don't have a guess at that.
I didn't ask that, man.
Let's see. And I met with Mr. and Mrs. Quoto, is that how you say their name? A few weeks ago. They live on 627, and they've had runoff and sediment from a farm across the street that actually rushes across the road and eventually just distributes itself all over their property. And they just got a really nice, newly paved parking area and driveway that are just covered with silt, and it's very slippery. The county has to go out and basically plow the dirt off the road. So I took some photos, and I met with the county engineer, gave him the photographs. The county is also dealing with, or the county engineer is dealing with the county council to try to resolve the situation, because they don't want to have to keep going out and doing this work, and the fear is that somebody's going to slide in this mud and there could be an accident. The county council is going to be writing a letter to the township. I think that he's trying to come up with some things that the county might be able to do to put pressure on them. But he also thinks that there might be some pressure that the township could put on the people. There may have been some permits issued that shouldn't have been. They cut in a driveway.
That's Phillips' place you're talking about. He was appealing that up to the Board of Ag for right to farm exemption.
Well, you still can't.
Right, you can't put a driveway in.
No, and he had an electrical panel just put there
Right.
in the right of way of the county that shouldn't have been, electrical permit shouldn't have been given out to allow him to do that in the right of way. He also thanks Joe that there may be some things in our ordinance, and I believe they are, although I'm not sure exactly what section they're in, where you're not allowed to divert water onto other people's property. And according to the quotas, there used to be a more even distribution of runoff that would come down to 3 or 4 different culverts across the width of their property, and now it's kind of concentrated at one area, and you can just see a lot of erosion. And if the original drainage patterns could be reestablished, it seemed like the land was capable of withstanding those
Right,
flows of
supposedly
velocity.
there was a swale at the top there that turned the water off. That swale got removed or something. I'm not
That's what
quite
it sounds like.
Right.
So if you have time and can leaf through and find something about water diversions, and that would be something that the township could do to just cite them and find them, and hopefully.
Obviously, he didn't have any kind of site plan. Usually that stuff gets put right on the site plan, and no fence rows are to be removed or disturbed or whatever, or any of that. But he obviously doesn't even have a site plan.
No, there was no site plan, and I did see his conservation plan. The county engineer had a copy of that, and he didn't talk about farming practices or any of that. It was really pretty much a lot of pieces of paper that said nothing. So that was a little bit disappointing to see, because I always thought we had some, or the county had some leverage with that.
Right. I followed up on all 3 of those farms down there that was really runoff. And I've been told from the county to go to the state, because 2 of the farms, I don't know if that farm was state preserved, the other 2 were state preserved, and they said to put the pressure on the state ag development committee rather than the county level, because the county just didn't seem to have the teeth, because the state are the ones who preserved.
Oh,
the
okay.
county. But I had a long talk with Dan Moll about it, because one resident down there on River Road, I guess this past rainstorm had like a foot of silt in her backyard in the top of her septic. I guess Wilbur had to get down and excavate it out, and so this was the 3rd time that he's cleaned up the mud in this person's backyard.
Yeah, I know I was called out there last year to meet with a property owner who had issues from a farm up there too. So.
Right, probably the same one.
Yeah.
But I said I talked at length with Dan Moll, who's in charge of the soil conservation district, I guess, up in Hackettstown, and he said, yeah, go to the state. So I would just be curious to know what the verdict was, and I can ask. Phillips did appeal his case to the county board of ag, what their decision was.
Well, and there's some things that supersede that. I mean, you still need to have, safe access onto the public roads. You can't just put a driveway in and not have sight distance, or one of the big issues, and that property, somebody else was trying to get a driveway permit years ago, and I guess the county OPA requested any information we had. I pulled out a review letter we did that we had sent to the fire chief, and actually they had done a review of it, and because of the length of it, they wanted pull-off areas for.
Technically, to me, it's not a driveway, it's a field access. And I don't know where that's going to fall, and that's where the county board of ag should take a look at.
Well, do they have a 1-acre area up there reserved for a house?
There's nothing up there. I mean, I've got a farm that's got a same thing on it, but there's no house there until they put the house on, then that's when it would kick in. But at this time, they're just farming whatever's there. I mean, it's no different than any other pull-off that I use to access a field. I know what you're saying. It should have proper sight distance, but if I had to have proper sight distance in every field I went in and out of, I wouldn't be able to get in and out half of them.
Joe, here, somebody to cite.
But there again, I believe that would be exempt.
Well, I don't know. I think you still try to make it safe.
I'd be curious. The water runoff, he's got to deal with regardless. That's just wrong.
And the other issue with the driveway permit is our ordinance requires it to be paved if it gets over a certain slope, so that you don't have all the dirt coming down onto the road. So
Right.
I guess that could be an issue too with farming.
Nobody's living there, and I don't know if he even uses this thing on a daily basis.
But it's still just a dirt driveway that
Right, I understand.
Onto the
The-
roadway.
The electrical thing, that blows my mind. The inspector didn't catch that,
And it's
that
in the
was
right-of-way.
in the right of way.
Yeah.
It's a temporary service for irrigation pump, I assume.
Yeah.
But, down on 627,
Past Finesville.
it would be right there past Chelsea Ford, correct?
Yeah.
On the right-hand side, right next to the old artist place, Dan Campanelli's.
By Dan
Just
Campanelli.
before Campanelli.
Should we be sending the electrical inspector out there?
Well,
Probably.
He issued the permit.
He
so
issued,
he's
he issued
probably
the permit,
seen
it got hooked up. So he looked at it, it's got a meter in it and all, it's been, but that's somebody missed that. How far within the right of way?
I don't know. The county engineer just told me it's in there right away. Yeah, it's 66-foot right away on that road.
And some of the houses are closer than that, I think.
Well,
But either way, I'll see if I can follow up with the Board of Ag to see what, if he's actually been before
Yeah.
them and what their thoughts were.
and then just a notice to anybody who travels Carpentersville Road and River Road. The railroad is scheduling to do an upgrade of the railroad crossing at the end of Carpentersville Road, right where it turns into River Road. They'll have I think I brought this up last month, they'll have the road closed for one day. And I've been dealing with the school about it, and we're set on doing it on Thursday, August 27th, with a rain date scheduled for Friday, August 28th.
Did they notify the residents in that area?
They have not.
Will they?
I will tell them they should put up signs.
They should.
Well, they're going to put up notice signs, that the work's going to be done in advance.
All right, and will you be able to read them as you drive by them, or do you have to stop your car? They put those notice signs up,
Oh, no.
and it's like you can't read them.
Okay. I'll talk to the railroad about it.
No, too, we could have the police put up the, mobile sign. So this is one day, the 27th?
Yes,
Okay.
or the 28th if it rains.
And will emergency services be notified?
Yes, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And they've made provisions with the quarry that if emergency vehicles need to get through, they can cut through the quarry. And DOT is accepting applications for the next round of municipal aid grants. They're due by October 20th. One project that I've brought up in the past that I thought would be a winner would be safety upgrades to signage and guide rail. It's something that requires very little with respect to plans and design work. And in the past, councils over the years have asked me to look at guide rail on Creek Road, Musconetcong Street, River Road, Shackletown Road, and I think maybe another couple. So anyway, that would be an idea.
Where do they need guide rails on my road?
It's up at the top. There's a short stretch of guide rail, but it doesn't extend enough. It's up by, is there alpacas up there?
Oh, you go past that. After you go around the curve, there's like an alpaca farm?
Yeah.
So they want guide rails there?
No, right before there is a stretch of guide rail, but it doesn't extend as long as, it stops in the middle of the slope.
Right at the end of Kalamazoo's driveway, almost, it sounds like.
Is there a plan already, like where to put the guardrails that exist that you've submitted?
Yeah, some of them we've done little sketches, and I've sent reports to council where we put it on aerial mapping and showed,
Okay.
lengths and that kind of thing.
I'd be interested to see that again, like where we're
Okay.
looking at talking. 'Cause-
Yeah, so we have till October 20th.
Okay.
to do anything. All right.
You know what, and for our conversation earlier today, would that DOT grant be able to be applied towards a road that the township does not? Worth a try, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if the intent was that the town would take it upon condition of it now? Yeah,
And the other one?
yeah. Now, if we took the roads, do you think they would give money towards that potentially? Those two roads?
You can't go on that.
No, I'm just asking a question.
I don't know, because they evaluate a lot of different criteria
Traffic,
when they go
yeah.
into it, and how many people it benefits.
Yeah.
For years we tried to get Still Valley Road overlaid by the state. They finally said, you just don't have enough people that use it to warrant them putting the money into it.
You'd be surprised how many people use
Yeah,
that road now.
that's like a
Well,
shortcut.
now that the tunnel's
Now
open,
the
it's
tunnel's
crazy.
open, right.
Yeah, when you try to,
It's a shortcut.
yeah. And a couple other roads, I think at one time we were looking at Alex Woods Road.
Okay. And those aren't dead ends either.
Yeah.
They lead places.
So
Okay.
they have all kinds of things that they evaluate, so.
Okay.
And that, since it's a dead end road and it's
It only-
maybe 20 homes on it.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
that, yeah.
All right. Worth a shot.
That's all I have.
Time frame for the Carpentersville Road, River Road, all day or specific times?
It's all day. Yeah, they would probably close it. I'm going to guess at 7 in the morning, and they're going to work till they get it done.
And that's the railroad?
Yes.
And what are they doing? They're raising it?
No, they're
Gonna-
just, you know how they do the upgrades where they put those rubber strips in?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they've done the other two crossings, and this would be the last one in Pocahontas.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Anyone have any other questions for Gwen? Okay, great. Thank you, Glenn. Now we will go into council reports with Dave.
As you mentioned earlier, we met this morning with TCI, Sal and I did, and our architect, Detective Rob, was also there and gave us a punch list of things in the police department that were not up to par. I thought the meeting went rather well. It kind of gave us a feel for what was going to be our responsibility and what was going to be TCI's, and TCI felt, or I felt, they were pretty positive that we can work through this. We talked about the heat pump in this end of the building that was not up to par. They're scheduled as soon as the documents get signed between the two attorneys. I guess they're ready to start work, hopefully at some point in September. Like I said, I thought overall, don't you think, Sal, the meeting went pretty good this morning?
I thought it went very well.
Right.
And Barry and I, we had some good ideas. And now they're going to start very shortly.
Very shortly. They want to try to prioritize things. Obviously, they want to get any kind of, the outside stuff. There was some concrete things they needed to do, but they wanted to address the air conditioning system, I think, and any kind of condensate leaks first, because the air conditioner is still in use. So they want to get that situated and fixed while it's still in use and prioritize and go from there. It sounds like there's a lot of hardware and door issues downstairs. Some of that's going to come on us. Some of it's going to be TCI, but I think the majority of that is going to come on us. We have a quote, and we can talk about that in executive session, from the lock doctor to fix all the door issues.
No, we're
down.
going to get somebody else
Somebody else?
besides the lock doctor.
We can talk about it in executive session, Sal, and see, because he's
Yeah.
got our stuff, make a decision.
We'll get ourselves, what, in trouble?
Well, I know. I'm sure we can do whatever we want to do, but either way, Officer Rob went and got that quote today. Other than that, there's not much new to on the DPW side, other than we did come to an agreement in mediation with their labor contract. We're going to take action, I believe, on it tonight. Other than that, Donnie is still out on disability. He's supposed to come back at what point, Wanda, do you know?
Another doctor's visit I think it's late September, so I think we're looking at October maybe.
October, okay. Other than that, they're going to start to address some of the pothole issues after we get the money appropriated tonight. What else? I guess that's it on that end. There's been no environmental meetings. We'll have one again in September. Anything new on the garden, Rennie? How's things up there?
Pretty good. I mean, there's been, you know, things are still growing, people are still busy. So, some people are thinking of plant, some fall plants.
Fall plants?
Yeah, it's been,
Now would be the time, I would think. Other than that, the land use meeting, I was unable to attend for some issues. Kevin, if you would give us just a brief summary of what went on, if you wouldn't mind.
We had approval of the Highland ordinances that you have in front of you tonight. We had an informal for the Linzo and Powers. Those are the gentlemen that bought Gary's Antiques. They're looking to buy the old Union Hall and convert that into a potential cooking school with perhaps a tenant portion for a chef or a caretaker school. And then Peter P. Dennis Inc., we had a minor site plan and variance that we went through, and based upon all the engineer's comments, it was approved with that pending. Some of the variances were, there was a billboard. Apparently the township has a ordinance against billboards, and we have one up for a long period of time, so that was granted variance relief for that. And that was basically it.
Is Art Battani still the owner of that building?
Yes.
what are they going to do with it?
They're selling it, so they wanted to do a lot line adjustment. They basically had a lot line going through the middle of the warehouse. So they made the lots a little bit more conforming. But our engineer also had a number of other items for them just to check off while they're at it. So they agreed to take them on and approve that and any of those changes.
And they've given up the idea of the land behind it being developed?
That wasn't addressed. So,
Because at one time they were going to build housing back there.
yeah. No, I mean, he's got a concrete pad for where there was a warehouse, and he was just covering 2 of those specific lots, and he's got a buyer on the hook, and just wanted to get them all conforming before he actually made a transaction.
Can we tell that buyer we have a school too?
Cheap. All right, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Other than that, Mayor, I don't really have anything else at this time. I don't believe. If I do, I'll speak up. That's about it.
Very good.
Have we had a meeting since the last with the National Night Out?
No, we did not.
That was in August.
Yeah.
I was there. It was a really good night. We were all there, all 3 of us, and well attended. It's a nice affair, especially if you have kids. It's a good night to get out and mingle with other township residents. Fire company and the police department did an excellent job.
Yes, they did. Mary?
Okay, I'll start out with the police report. The police department responded to 488 calls for service, and they also issued 231 traffic or local ordinance summonses, and they made 30 arrests. The criminal investigation unit opened 18 new cases. One of those cases was a robbery at the Wawa on Route 22. As part of the investigation, the police department was able to seize the suspect's vehicle for asset forfeiture. And that happened during National Night Out. On August 4th, 2015 was when we had our National Night Out at the Huntington Fire Department in that area. And it was very successful, like David said, and we'd like to thank the police. We'd like to thank the mayor and council for their continued support in all of our community events. And they'd also like to publicly thank the sponsors and volunteers who helped with the event. You had your Huntington Volunteer Fire Department, the Huntington Ladies Auxiliary. Can you hear me? Okay. Phillipsburg Emergency Squad, the New Jersey State Police Aviation Unit, Chick-fil-A of Pahacon, White Castle of Pahacon, Bagel Smith of Alpha, who is currently moving to a new site, not that far from where they are now, ShopRite of Greenwich, Drake's Rental, South Warren Alliance, Dr. D Entertainment, and Ross Nagel's Service Center. And this is for all of you drivers, and you can pass the word that between August 21st of 2015 and September 7th, which is the day after Labor Day, I do believe, The department will be participating in the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. That's the police report. Now, also, I wanted to mention History and Heritage Society is working on the Shimer Mansion, and they had another cleanup day. I saw Ingrid was at. In fact, she was there longer than I was. And I assumed by the time that you left that it looked really, starting to look really good. On the outside, we were picking up all kinds of debris and throwing it in the dumpster, and people working on the interior of the house. And it's surprising that for a house that we thought was not going to be any good, that with cleaning it up, how good it's starting to look. And they're able to figure out what needs to be done to it. Now, there's going to be people coming, I think it's August 29th.
At 2:30.
A grant committee at 2:30 to come and look at the house. And they said they would like people who support the project to be there. So if anybody has nothing to do on that day, 2:30, August 29th, that you would come and help support our getting that grant. And then I think there's a hearing for that grant in September.
Yeah, September 19th, Monday. That's the formal presentation.
Okay. And that will be in Oxford?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's certain things to get this grant. I think it's a $90,000 grant. That's correct.
I'm not sure the amount of how much the grant is.
But Mike Margolis is wonderful with writing grants, and he's the one that's behind this. So just thought I'd pass that on to you. And the other thing is that we have received reports of skunks who are not acting within their norm. Most skunks are nocturnal, although it doesn't prohibit them from being around during the day. But that one person in particular thought that the skunk that they saw might be rabid. So that's hence why I'm saying this. So just, for your knowledge, the animal control officer doesn't have certification for wild animals. So you need to call.
No, actually, you bring up a good point that I was going to bring up.
All right,
They do not handle wild animals.
Oh, they don't?
No. So,
Fishing game.
yeah, so we have, right now, our AOC or ACO is handing out incorrect information for this group because they don't deal with wildlife.
So
They were able.
That phone number he should not have given.
Yeah, which I don't know how many people he's
Well,
given.
I'm glad I
Yeah.
didn't copy it down and say, take that number.
No, I just found that out, but they were able to assist the resident in saying that they identified the animals not being
Oh, that's good.
a problem, and it
So
looks
peace of mind
normal,
at least.
but it does, recognize that we have an issue, that there isn't a contact that the animal control officer has to deal with that. So that's a discussion we may want to have with him about how to, who to refer people to.
Well, I was going to say, like Wanda, I know in the past, isn't there something like a dead deer on the road or something that you have to call and report?
Yeah, but it's just the county now because they took that program away.
Yeah, that was deer carcass removal.
And they'll only do it if it's on a county road.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, you drag it into the woods and let it.
Yeah, Corzine cut that, yeah. The deer carcass.
You cut what?
The deer carcass removal. But I don't know, because I know Lopat uses him, Phillipsburg uses him. Greenwich does not,
No, Alpha does.
Alpha does. So we all have a similar problem
Well,
with this.
I don't know about it being a problem. We just need to get the correct information of who gets called, and I think Wanda should be our routing person so that there's not 1,000 people calling that phone number.
Well, I think it should be the animal control officer.
But I think not. I truly don't think. I think that in terms of what he does and what his role is, that's his role. And I really think that should go through Wanda, just like the dead deer were going through Wanda. I think that needs to be our.
Well, I don't have an issue with if we have the number, but the animal
But
control.
that way we will know, and she can keep tabs on it, and it's a lot easier than trying to deal with somebody who works between four municipalities.
Yeah, but that's his job.
No, his job is domesticated animals, and that's his job. His job is not rabid animals like a skunk or a raccoon or something like that. That is not his job.
Well, I don't think it would be difficult to have him
Well,
pass
you
on
can-
a phone number.
Yeah, but I think that it's better. He can pass on Wanda's phone number.
Yeah, but why would you add an extra step to our residents? That's confusing.
Because
If
it's-
everyone has that phone number, then it's not a big deal. I'm just saying we need to find out who to
No,
contact.
Wanda just needs the number of who she needs to contact, and then everybody can call Wanda. Everybody has that phone number. They don't have to figure out who the animal control officer's phone number, what it is. You understand what I'm saying? It just makes it a lot easier.
I think
you're making it complicated.
you are. I think if everyone has the contact info, then you call one person and everyone knows who it is. And I'm saying we need to identify who
And
that
it's
is.
not him. That is not his job.
Yep. Okay. I'll have a discussion with him. It would
But
be
you're going to start laying things on him that are not his job.
to hand out a phone number. If he can't handle that, then
He can say, call Wanda, and then they call Wanda,
Okay.
and she passes it on to the,
In the past, when Tony had it, he had a contact number.
Yeah.
And that's who he had given to Wayne. Those calls, we would get calls like that sometimes, but I wasn't the one it was reported to.
I understand that. And they call him because he is, they see animal.
Animal
control.
Exactly.
They
So-
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
so wouldn't you want to make it easier for our
I
residents?
mean, it
No,
would be
but
a
I wanted-
two-prong approach,
but-
like if they have.
but you
Exactly.
He should have
Yes,
it.
but
They
you
call me, I
understand
can.
though, what you're saying though, then is, some people will be calling him, some people will be calling Wanda, just like with Tony. And the thing is, if you have it one person, she records it. And if there's anything that needs to be involved with the police are right there. I just think it makes it better. And all he needs to do is tell them that they have to call the clerk. That's all. That's all he needs to say. That phone number is all over the place. And it's one person making that call.
But if you have, I'm just saying, if you have more than one person have the information.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the police and the animal control too. Not that I mind doing it, but I'm here 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, everyone
Sometimes
have
at
it.
night Or on the weekend.
Yeah, then it's not an emergency, just like.
And then you
you've
throw the
done
number
dogs.
on the website saying if you have this type of animal, that's what you deal with, problem solved. But the more people that know about it, the better. That's all
But
I'm
you
saying.
don't want everyone and their uncle calling the phone number of the,
They're not going to. I'm just saying, the more people that have that information, the better. It's less, you have to call this number. I can't help you. It's not my department. People hate that.
well, I'm sorry if they hate it, but it's not his job.
But it's not efficient. That's all I'm saying. We ask people
I
to
don't know
take,
what you mean by it's not efficient.
it's another phone call our residents have to make.
Oh.
All right, well. You have anything else?
No, I was done before you started in.
Okay, Sal?
I'll go through this rather quickly. Our road crew are working on a manhole on Bliss Boulevard. They went down 20 feet to get at the bottom of this here, at the drainage. And that was deep. And the job is done, and they did a great job on Bliss Boulevard because we had to get that job done before this winter. 20 foot deep, that's quite deep, but they did do a good job on Bliss Boulevard. Wendy, would you call up the power company? There's a light up by the school on the pole. If they would take that light down, but that's our light.
One in the parking lot now? Or on the street?
No, it's out on the street. And I want to take that light down. We don't need it. And let the next guy worry about it. We're not going to keep paying for it every month for this light. And if they won't do it,
You get us
I'll
a
get
number?
Metsi in there and we'll take it down. Now, we talked about the railroad company, River Road, behind Toots. Everything's for sale down there. And we gotta get those trees cut down. Call up the owner of that railroad company to get those trees cut down and have him maintain that property. He's not maintaining it at all. You know what I'm talking about? You got a beautiful bridge there. I know I brought some people there from France. They wanted to, they heard about this bridge. So I took them down, and it is a beautiful bridge, and let's clean it up. Okay?
Whose property is that? The railroad?
I can't.
You said whose
Whose
property
property is it? The railroad?
I think it belongs to the railroad company. The trucks would come in.
All right, if I'm coming
Unload
across
the
the bridge
rail-
from Pennsylvania,
What?
if I'm coming across the bridge from Pennsylvania,
It'd be on the right-hand side, all them trees that are about 6, 7, 8 feet high.
on the guard shack side or on the other side?
On our
Joe,
side.
can you go out and just take a look at those trees? Okay.
What do you mean? Why should he go out there? They're that
He-
high.
He's our zoning officer, code enforcement official. He's gonna go take a look at it.
Waste more time. Okay, we're working on the library yet, right, Barry?
Library,
Not the
School.
library, the school.
we need to try to move forward on that sale. It's kind of stagnant right now, but yeah, we're still talking to a broker on that sale.
Joe Rossi and I, we drove around the township. We looked at several properties. And I want Joe to give a report on some of these homeowners. Okay, Joe, take over.
Joe, you want to do your report now? Or you want to?
Yeah, let's let him go.
Next on the agenda.
Let him do
We'll
his report.
segue right into it, Joe.
But I got you.
I am.
Not insulted?
No, I'm honored.
Okay. Well, first of all, good evening, everyone. Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for having me here. I'd like to say something about myself. Not only am I a zoning officer, I'm also a construction official, also an electrical subcode official. I'm also a building inspector, so I know a little bit about buildings. Right? This is an important issue to bring up. If anybody tells you, oh, you got blindsided by this, you can't hear this because you have to have more information, then that's just an insult for you people, for this township, how to deal with things. I was told not to bring this up, but this is important because this issue I'm bringing up right now has been going on since 2006. Anybody have trouble with the math? That's 9 years. 9 years. The same issues been bringing up with the same person, the same site. There's been some reports that the enforcement may be wrong. I should have been here first. I took this person to court. Oh, Joe Rossi, he don't know what he's talking about. You got to go in front of the council, and so on and so forth. You're not enforcing the laws right. You're doing my client this and that. That has nothing to do with it. We have a commitment. The township and myself, we have a commitment to the community. Not only the person that owns it, but the other person on the other side of the fence there. All of us, when we go home tonight, and we get up tomorrow morning, we go on the back porch with our cappuccino, we're drinking our cappuccino, we're looking out, we don't have to see this. We don't have to worry about the grass being this high. There's snakes coming over here, come into our yards there, right? They've been dealing with this property, and I'll show you something right here. Right here. All this is the same property. Now you got to pay me, so it don't make a difference, right? But all this, all these papers, I can't just go out and say, hey, you got to clean this up there, and then tell the judge I told her to clean it up there. He goes, so show me proof of it.
So we have to go out. We have to take pictures. We have to print this out. Wear and tear on our machines, our paper, our ink. This all costs money to do it. So I came in here because I had two goals. Right now, I would like this township to have, Mr. Mayor, I'd like you to make a motion or somebody make a motion to have our lawyer call up their lawyer and say, I would like someone to open that building and go inside. I asked if I can go inside and see if that is fit for human occupancy. Oh, I can't go in there because you're biased. No, you're right. I am biased. All right. But if you don't want me going, you pick somebody, whether you know it or not. You have one of the most talented persons that live into this township right now. You can call him up and ask if he can go in as an unbiased person. That's Walter Van Loo. I don't know if you know that or not. But that's true. He knows that. All right. I want this come in. I want to set a precedent. Because we have a real issue. Right? Not only this town, all towns do. You can take these houses, they're decayed, they're around, trying to find them. And what I did to bring up in Sal's point, what we did is we had some detectives and they gave me a whole bunch of people to deal with. I got 3 of them going to court. One person I don't think has shown up because I found out. I was writing that, says, hey, I have to write a summons out to this person. The lady says, you're writing a summons to this person? They left in the middle of the night. That's 9 Liberty Avenue. Take a drive down there. All that stuff is out there. Where are these people? They're gone. Right? So we really have to address these issues. Now, and this is a time we have a real live person, that Mrs. Casimius. Right? I don't know whether she doesn't know what's going on, whether she thinks she's 40 years old, or this is looking for her, or what's going on. We have to tell this person, look, to fix this house, it's going to cost at least $250,000. Now, like I said, I've been dealing with this since May of 2014. Know what I've got since May 2014? A building permit. 1 building permit taken out. You know how much work's been done on there? Not 1 second of work's been done on this house. This person keeps going on. It's just one excuse after another, one delay after another. I've been dealing with houses. Another part of this here, I bring doing this house is the bank owns it. Oh, yeah, we own it. Oh, we don't have a docket number right there. We can't take care of that. All right, we go. I found the document. Oh, that person no longer lives here, so we're going to have to do with this person. I found, okay, Mr. Rossi, I'll get right on this. Call him next month there. I said, you guys didn't do anything. So we didn't? Why? We sent somebody down there. You didn't send somebody. I talked to the neighbors. You didn't send anybody down there. Right? So my second goal is here, we need to make this person realize, look, you're not going to do something. It was up to, I know how I would handle about this, okay? Now, I just want to emphasize that this particular case is one delay after another.
Joe, where's this at? Is this down there on the riverside across from Warren Glen Grocery?
No, this is 157. No. This is 157 Route.
I know where 657 down in Finesville.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one in Warren Glen, I bring it up every meeting for the last 20 years. And nothing's done.
Joe, on this, probably the most important, aside from you pulling up all the dates, it says on August 6th, Mr. Souders, who is their attorney, her attorney, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Insisted that we go in front of the township committee to postpone the court date. I don't see either.
Nor do I see the homeowner.
So is there court on Thursday?
I have court for her November 5th.
No, is there court this week? Do you know if there? Well, can you just issue a fine tomorrow?
Sir, I issued a fine, right? A $500 fine, and he's been arguing that should only be a $100 fine because it's the first offense. I'm like, no, it should not be the first
Why
offense.
is the court date in November?
Because Mr. Souter says that I need to go in front of you guys and bring this up to you before I can go in front of the judge.
All right, well, why don't?
How delinquent is she in her taxes? I see in the paragraph she's not.
She paid up as she can't be delinquent now because it's September 11th.
So why don't we do this? You came before council. They didn't come before council. That is it's not only an insult to you but it's rude that you offered them this opportunity to state their case. So why don't we just go before the judge? Is there court this week? There is. Why don't we just go before the judge Thursday and I don't know if you want to put out a warrant, but what the heck? Let's get this thing moving and get her in here. November, Joe, that's another 3 months away. So let's tell the judge you came before council. Council defines this unacceptable, that they're not cooperating with you, and get it done. I don't think this council has anything left to do. This is for the judge now. And if they don't want to pay it, we're going to fine them every day until something gets done.
Well, one of the first things, all right,
Wait a minute. Oh, what are you gonna do now, Joe?
all we can do is find her
Every day.
every day.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna have to do.
$500 a day fine.
What I'm gonna do is, why don't you make a motion right now that's saying that the council wants the zoning officer to issue a $500 fine per day. This is totally unacceptable.
Do we need a motion to do that?
I don't know.
Actually, it's the day.
I'll make the motion.
I think that's within his purview, right? We don't have. Yeah, we don't have to. You're good. You have the authority to do that within
I
our
agree
code
with
book.
100%. That's why I brought this, and I do not understand why he made me come into here.
No, well, the other thing,
Right, because it's on.
but the thing is, though, I understand if they were going to come and say their case before the town, like if there's a financial hardship or what the deal is, like, hear your case. But the fact that you sent them, 2 weeks ago, that there's going to be a meeting.
Yeah.
And then on top of the history with this, what are we supposed to do?
I agree. That's what I'll start doing. Issue a $500 fine. You just put that it's going to be $500 per day.
And I think tomorrow even, or whenever you make the phone call, is she speaking to you, or are you speaking to her attorney?
Her attorney.
All right, I'll talk to, I will have Kevin reach out to their attorney and say what we're going to do.
When you talk, sir, well, first of all, I'm from New Jersey, so he can't insult me. Don't worry about that, okay? When you talk to Kevin, he's going to say, oh, she's going out for bid, she's getting this, and it's coming in there. No. Feeds him, yeah. Of course, that's what her lawyer's going to pay for. That's something like I said, just one excuse. Bid's too high. This guy came in. Realistically, they're not with it. And that's why I said I want to go out there. That's why I said I want to do. That's why I want to take it inside, because I want to put this on here. Unfit for human occupancy.
Can you issue that? Is that within your?
Well, he stopped me. Souder stopped me from doing that.
How do you do that? How do we get? I don't know.
Like I said,
Well, why don't we do this? This is what we'll do. This will be the immediate approach. Kevin will call Souders, say you didn't show up. This is what's going to happen. Talk to the judge on Thursday, and if we have to, we'll go with the police. You guys can enter a building with. They need a warrant, but this is like 9 years, as you've
I
said.
was gonna say, our judge could give you a warrant, right?
No, I will review our local ordinances on what Mr. Rawson's rights are to go in. And as long as it's in there, we'll escort Mr. Rawson
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
And we can get it taken care of that way, as long as legally it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There we go.
Souders was our public defender at one time.
Funny how that works.
The house across the street from the Warren Glen grocery store, the one I bring up constantly, with the holes in that roof, it has the same type of placard like you have on that
Well,
table,
it has
and
converted
nothing
to-
happens.
well, again, like you said, that's a real issue. Where are these people? And again, I'll point to this lady. I've been doing the same thing to her house there. They're just the banks are giving me a runaround.
Let's fine them.
Who does, it says the bank owns it on.
Bank
the
owns it.
tax rolls?
Bank owns it on tax fall. Right? And we're supposed to have, and I told them we're supposed to have an agent in New Jersey. And I issued the bank $1,000 fine because they didn't give us that name.
Okay. Do they pay it?
No.
Can you take them to court?
The problem is,
They're not going to show up.
the problem is, as I have a bank, like I have Wells Fargo. Can I take Wells Fargo to court? The CEO? I would have to find out who the,
Whatever entity has control over the title to that house.
that's Wells Fargo in Texas. Yeah,
You're able to find them.
But who's the person?
The bank, it's an entity. It's not a.
Oh, you
It's
just
yeah,
provide the whole thing.
yeah.
right, yeah. Yeah, like I said, if I had a person, yeah, definitely. But that's the issue, that we're not the only town. Okay,
But if you started levying fines on them,
sure. We'll give them $1,000 a day.
they're a bank.
Yeah.
And let them know that that's happening.
Yeah.
What kind of reciprocity do we have with Texas?
I'm not familiar with that word, I'm sorry.
Oh, we can't afford that now.
I'm-
Send somebody down Texas.
I mean, in terms of.
Oh, of arresting someone? No, that won't. No, you won't be able to do that. No. As soon as they come into New Jersey, then they'd be in trouble.
Can we take hostage?
Yeah.
Can I borrow your credit card? Mary, can I borrow your credit card? I'll go down to Texas. Me and Walt will go down.
We have a branch in Cohasset.
I know we do, that's what I'm saying, can we deal locally, hand it to them? And then let them deal with it with their parent company? or whatever?
Yeah, certainly do that.
The-
I had to deal with PNC Bank on a property one time, and I had to deal with the main branch in Pittsburgh, when they were hubbed out of.
Uh-huh.
Whatever hub has the loan.
Drawn out process.
Yeah, it's
But
a real,
eventually, did you get it resolved?
Yeah, eventually it got resolved.
Well, there, let's start.
What will it
now.
take? Another 8 years, 10 years?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They all have raises, right?
I thank you for your time.
Joe, one quick question before you go. I see a letter here on P&M property up on Foch Boulevard. Have you followed through on that or found anything out at all or not? It was dated back in June. It was from you. It was addressed to Carrie and I.
Yes. We took care of that.
Okay.
Yes, that is taken care of. Yes, sir. Anything else, Mr. Mayor?
No, I think what we'll do is let's look to, when Kevin gets back, I'll have him reach out to you directly
Yeah.
after I talk to him, and then we'll take it from there about the course for this property.
Tell him like it is. In other words, so he doesn't sugarcoat everything.
He told me not to come in tonight because you guys can't handle that. You're getting hit. It's cold. We can't handle it. Totally disagree with that. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
No,
You know, and the reason why I say about going after the bank, if we do something that we get any kind of results from that would send the word out to the other properties that are under bank control.
Right, we want to set a precedent.
Exactly.
No, you can find them. You can do that. But, so they'll mow it, they'll
And
maintain
if
it.
they're not doing anything with that house, because I saw it, the one that's across from Warren Glen. And if they're not doing anything, yeah, you have to start shaking things, to get any kind of response.
I would say anyone that you haven't heard from, just find them. And then for this one, this is a very special circumstance. We're going to handle it, the way we'd said we would.
Yeah, they're trying to use the historic for that one in Farmville.
It's not.
But it's
Yeah, it's not on
It's
there.
It's a historic district, but the house is
Right.
not.
Yeah, the house itself is not, yeah.
Right.
First words are going to out of their mouth is going to say, "Where did you come up with that $1,000 a day?" I'm going to say, "Town council."
Hey,
Yes, sir.
when was that house built? Do you have any clue?
1876, I think she said, somewhere around there.
The one that's in Farmville?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they'll say it's historic. It's from the 1800s.
Right.
That's not even as old as some of the other ones there.
I understand that, but that's what they'll use.
But again, it's the
But
house
they're
is
not
not.
doing anything.
Right. Nothing's been done for at least 20 years. You get Walt down there, he'll agree with me 100%. No, I'm not saying this. He's an unbiased person.
First you have to get hold of it.
Joe, does our ordinance specify the amount of fines that they can be per day? Because I don't know if we can do that arbitrarily.
Yeah, it would have to, whatever the fine is has to be whatever
It has
the
to be
code,
consistent.
yeah, it has to be consistent with the
Yeah,
code
it has
book.
to be whatever.
Our code says $100 for the first offense,
Okay,
$500 for the second offense, $12.50 for the third offense, and on the judge discretion to be 90 days of community service.
And is that per day?
It doesn't say. So I can, does not say whether it's per day, per month. per
Okay.
week. It's our discretion how long we're
Think
going to
that
give
it's
them.
their first offense because they never did anything?
They already had a jail
But
sentence.
it's documented how many times.
I know.
They already was in front of a court and they got fined $100.
So then that would be second, then
As
we,
far as I'm concerned,
okay.
it's the second, right?
yeah, okay. All right, cool.
What about the one across from, Warren Glen store? Nothing's been done with them in terms of any kind of,
Well, he has about 6 placards on
well,
the,
I
on
understand
the
that, but I mean,
door.
as far as offense goes, first offense, second offense, third offense.
Again, they're, like you said, they're up to their second offense, third offense now, and
And so they need to be nailed.
same thing.
I think so. All right, we appreciate what you do.
All right,
It's
thanks,
not a
Joe.
happy job.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
What he proposed, I think he brought a picture to the meeting 2 meetings ago of the house on River Road that's falling down. And he took care of that. It's been beautifully cleaned up, and thanks to him, he wrote letters and suggested that she get a surrogate to take care of the business, and she did. She paid her fine, and she hired somebody, and he doesn't not pay her anymore.
What property was that, Ingrid?
What was the name of
Like
it?
142. Lear, wasn't it Lear?
Yeah.
Leary, Mrs.
Leary.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And if we coordinate, just if he does end up going in, okay, excellent. All right. Resolutions, does anyone have any issue taking all these together?
I move that we take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 resolutions.
I'll second the motion.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Yes. I wanted, for the last one, are we going to send that to Clinton, or was that Washington Township? Okay. Thank you. All right, ordinance, anyone have any issue taking 9, 10, 11, and 12 together?
1510 is for Mrs. Homer, correct?
They all, well,
Essentially, they're all related.
they're all related to the sewer, sir. Well, not 09, but 10, 11, and 12 are all related to the,
I move
For
that
sewer.
we take these 4 ordinances as first reading. Do the titles need to be read?
I'd just like to clarify 15-09, that was money that was earmarked for a new piece of equipment that we opted out not to buy, and we're just taking that money that was appropriated and pumping that back into the road maintenance portion of our budget, just to clarify that for everybody.
gotcha. Thank you, Dave. Okay, so is there a motion?
I move.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say the first ordinance will be scheduled for adoption at the September 1st meeting. The other 3 will be September 15th because they need the 10-day notice. So,
Okay. You want to do them separate? Is that easy for you? Okay,
It's fine.
okay.
So I say Slack,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do we mind taking all these for public hearing at the same time? 6, 7, and
Before
8?
we get into it, I would like to,
You want to take 08 by itself.
I want to,
So let's do 06 and
amend
07.
08.
Why don't we have this, let's do 06 and 07 first.
I move that we open for public discussion, ordinances 15-06 and ordinance 15-07.
Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any public comment on either of these 2 ordinances? None. Do I have a motion to close and
We
adopt?
close public comment and adopt these 2 ordinances.
Second.
Okay, Slack,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Okay, 15-08. Can we discuss or do we open first, Wanda?
Well, it's,
You can discuss it
and then open
to
for
public
public.
comment.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, all right. I like the idea that businesses will be held accountable for showing up at court, when our police take the time to respond to a call and charge somebody with whatever illegal act that they're doing, that they have to come to court. That part of this ordinance I really like. What part I'm not comfortable with is the 10, the number 10 for the number of times before a business will start to be fined. I think that it's not pro-business in a way. I feel better if it were at least 15 or maybe even 20. You don't want to give a number that you're going to be guaranteed that you're going to be fining a business. It's a protection. So therefore, your number should be a little bit higher. And so that's why I say at least 15 and maybe 20.
Did we discuss this at great length at the
No,
last
you
meeting?
didn't. It was kind of like, it started out being 15 and all of a sudden it was 10 and then it went on. It wasn't a big discussion.
Okay, I just remember we discussed it, Mary. I just,
You're right. And when I got home and I was thinking about it and how it impacts and so forth, I said, no, this is not right.
what would you be more comfortable with?
I said 15, I said
Excuse me?
20, take the middle, 18.
And that's
No, that's the middle of the higher.
Take a break for a minute.
All right, 17.
You okay, Sal?
Yeah,
Sure?
got to take a break.
Okay.
Okay. 17. Now
And
it's
this is
towards the lower.
per month we're talking, Mary, or?
Yes. 10 is entirely, too low.
No, well, I think 17 is way too high.
Well then,
I mean, there you're talking about every other day. If you're talking 15, you'd be responding in every other day situation.
well then let's go back to the original 15 then. But 10 is definitely too low. You're handcuffing their hands.
But you have to
And it's
to
not
remember this is
pro-business and business friendly. And you can smile at me all you want while you say you have to remember. But it's not pro-business. It's against business. It doesn't give them the opportunity. I really, truly think that we need to go to 15. And I know you look at one specific company in this township, but it's any company in this township and the number of times that they might call a police in.
for shoplifting.
It's not just shopping.
Yes, it
You
is.
said, no. The way the ordinance is it's 15 calls. It doesn't say for shoplifting specifically. It just says 15 calls. And also, if they're charged and they don't show up at court, then they get fined. And that part I
I
like.
believe it's shoplifting. I believe that's what. Do we have a copy of it? I don't know.
I honestly don't know, Jim.
I have it at my
Is
desk.
there any
Did you
way,
get it?
No, we can.
can we table this?
Well, why don't we table it till Councilman Becker gets back anyway? I'd like to have a full council on this.
Yeah, well, he was the one who threw in the 10.
Well, no, but he's right. I mean, you can't have numbers that aren't being met at all because then the ordinance doesn't fix the problem.
No, it curtails it in terms of that they know that when they get to that certain number that there's going to be fines. But I think 10 still is too low. I think you're still going to be,
10
you're
shoplifting
going to end
calls.
up fining people or businesses
Well,
every month.
in discussions with.
And I don't think that
Okay.
that is very.
All right. Well, we'll move to table this till
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll move
make
it.
a
Why
motion to
don't you
table it.
ask the Economic Development Advisory Commission to take a look at it? Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking out for our businesses.
Okay.
Because I truly believe that that is just too low of a number. I was speaking to the chief about it, and too low of a number.
What did Chief Greenmeyer have to say, Mary?
He thought it was too low also.
What do you say, Scott, about that number?
I didn't read the ordinance, so I really can't answer that. Shoplifting. I don't know what the ordinance says, so I really can't answer that. If I read it, I can give you my opinion.
Okay, they did put shoplifting in here, but, because I have the ordinance, you can smile all you want,
Just,
but still, I still think 10 is not enough, because when you get to certain months, there's definitely going to be more calls for shoplifting.
but, yeah, but. that-
Exactly,
that's-
and that's why I'm saying you need to make it a number that fits for the whole year. You can't make it just seasonal. Okay, 10, let's say during the spring, because nobody's shoplifting then. Okay, that's good, that's good. You know, you can't do that. It has to be one number for the whole year. It started out 15, and all of a sudden it was 10. Well, you know what? If you hate somebody, you want to try to punish them as much as you can.
No. Okay. With all due respect, the 15 ordinance was for another municipality that had significantly higher call volume than Pohat. So per the ratio, that adjusts more correctly to what our call volume is for shoplifting.
Okay,
This
well,
ordinance
you
will
know
not
what?
deter people from calling the police for any other type of
No, no,
crime.
no, 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 no.
It's going to
You can
force,
go on and on and on. But
just like
see,
you have been
I
doing.
spoke with the chief.
So,
But I spoke with the
So
chief
have
and
I.
found out what the numbers
so have I.
you know, should be. And he wasn't saying 10.
Okay, well, with all due respect for the chief, he's not here for one, and two,
He's entitled to a vacation.
yeah, so I'm saying I'm not going to say what his opinion should or should not be, but at the same point, why, by introducing this ordinance, it's going to reduce potentially police activity. So why would he want to see police activity reduced for cases like that? It's
No,
like,
it's
it's
not
called,
going to reduce police activity. It's going to, people who are doing something they shouldn't be won't be punished for what they're doing and will be allowed to get away with it because it's reducing police activity.
what you're doing is you're taking police off the road and putting them up at Walmart. That's what's
That's
happening.
what they pay their taxes for.
Our residents, okay, so at most, with the size of our force now, we have 1.5 guys on now, maybe 2. One of them is going to be up at Walmart dealing with this type of nuisance violation all the time. By having Walmart be responsible and handling this appropriately, we don't have to have an officer up there constantly arresting people who are
And
stealing for stealing $25
What
because
do
they're
you
addicted
call
to drugs.
appropriately from Walmart handling it?
They need to have measures in place where they have security so that it will deter people from stealing. Why is it only one store where they're stealing from?
I'm sure that they're taking things in other stores. Maybe they don't call the police. Because I know I've been in the grocery store and I've seen people shoplifting. And I've reported it. So, you know, it happens in any store.
I understand that, but it happens at Walmart significantly higher than any other store.
And-
There's not a-
And again, so you're singling out one store.
Because they're the only one that are impacted by this ordinance. So I don't understand why,
Anybody could be impacted by this ordinance, any business.
if they have 10 shoplifting calls over a month,
I
most
think,
businesses
really
won't be
that
able
you
to
should-
stay in business.
well, I still think that number is entirely too low.
Let's table it and work on it at the next meeting.
All right, so there's a motion to table. Is there a
Okay,
second?
well, I won't be at the next meeting, so you're going to hold things off for me?
Yes, I will.
Good for what you say.
Yes, we will. Will you be back on the 18th? All right, we'll have a discussion then on it. Can we table that to the 18th then, Wanda?
Yes.
Okay.
Who's the second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so Slack,
Yes.
Family,
I'm abstaining, I'm just
Vangeli,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Okay. Motions. Does anyone have an issue taking all these together?
all the motions that we have.
Oh,
You know what, can we reword the motion for Monmouth Telecom, because Kevin did want some changes to that contract.
Oh,
So
exclude the
yeah,
paragraph
so we'll
11
just
and
say,
12?
With the revisions as per our attorney.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. And the first two motions are different but related.
Yes.
Okay.
One is the social affair
Right.
permit, and then they have to have a special
And
event.
the other one for Chelsea Forge is L1.
Okay, so is there a motion for those?
I'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motions.
Okay.
second it.
Okay, Slack,
Yes.
Dan Lou,
Yes.
Dan Shelley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Public comments. Do you have any general public comment? Yes. Yep.
This is in regards to the non-domestic animal situation. This is just my personal opinion. I would like to see one number posted somewhere. And the reason I say this is because I have called in the past on a weekend, and I'm not really sure exactly who I contacted. It's been a few years back, but I had a rabid groundhog. And I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether, because it was dying, and I just didn't know if they needed to come and inspect it or do whatever. But I did call the township first. I didn't get a call back, so I did some search on internet, and I called a number for the main, whatever it was, health thing. I don't know what it was called now, and nobody called us back. So I would like to see just one number that we can reach out to. And it may not even be our township that handles
I
it.
still think it's going to fall under Fish and Game Wildlife.
And it could,
Wild
but
animal.
and it could, but I think that may be who I called, and they never called us back because it was the weekend, and they
Right.
brought it in. So if we could try to maybe find out from somebody, and I'm willing to try to find that information out as well for us, just to know who to call, because it's not always going to be from 9 to 5, like Wanda said. She may not be
Yeah.
here. And then, people are calling and you're trying to figure it all out, and by then it's too late, So I would just prefer to see one number that is the direct contact for daytime and for weekend posted. Do the police get called often for that?
95% of the time.
Who do you refer them
It's our
to?
responsibility. We get called for it. We go over, if we have an animal that, we see is sick, unfortunately, we have to put the animal down. But if we believe that it's rabid, we know that we have to stay away from the head. Because the head is the only part of the animal's body that can be tested down in Trenton to see if it was a rabid animal or not. So 95% of the time, we're going out. If it's just an animal that, if it's near the woods, we'll shoot it along ourselves. But if we do have to put the animal down, we will do that in the same manner.
So if you think it's rabid, you still will shoot it, but just not aiming for the head, and you put it in the plastic bag and send it off. So we can call you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, 95% of the time we get called. And there's really, Fish and Game will not come out unless it's, even for like bears, they will not come out. Unless it's in an aggressive manner, putting property or people at risk, they will not come out
Really?
for that. Right? So it's left on our hands. We do have some officers that are trained in dealing with bears, and we have special shotgun rounds downstairs that we do have for those situations if we have to scare a bear away. But mostly with the small animals, we take the responsibility to make the determination if it needs to be put down or shoo it away into the woods that Mother Nature takes.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Thank you. All right, any other public comment?
Ingrid Gray, 7 Snyders Road. First of all, regarding the railroad crossing at the north end of Carpentersville, I'm concerned about the placement of signs letting people know. Where would the signs be to let people know in advance that this is going to be closing? Because if there are going to be people properly notified, there should be one at the intersection of Snyders and River before they think they're going to get all the way through to the north end of town and then have to turn around and come back. There should be one at the end of Oberly where Oberly meets Carpentersville Road, because that's another shortcut that people, well, not a shortcut, but a road people take. They come down, they go over to Oberly, and then they turn left and go down to Carpentersville. And then perhaps at where Carpentersville Road meets High Street, before they even get on that road, to let them know it's closed. Just when things have been closed before, you just don't have all the approaches properly.
Yeah, and then you're halfway down and
I
you're,
like to have those,
It's for
Point out
one
those-
day.
yeah,
yeah.
but you don't,
Still, I mean,
for that one day, you don't want to,
I
be going
had an
down there.
experience on Route 12 where I kept hitting different areas that were, things were being done with detours. And one detour sent me to Pittstown, and I got to
Yep.
Pittstown, and there was a detour there. And I couldn't go. So I had to go back and ended up back on Route 12 again, traveling this. So it's like, yes, you want to put these things up ahead of time so
Yeah.
people are not
Why not?
driving around the
It's
country.
not a hard thing to do. It would be nice to do. Dave, when you did your drive around with, to look at the potholes in the township, did you take a look at Overly Road?
Yeah, I've talked to the guys, they know which roads are the worst, and I told them to take them, as far as which ones are traveled the most first and work your way back.
Okay.
I know Overly Creek,
Okay,
Still
good.
Valley,
Okay, thanks.
we know that. I said that they're supposed to start after we appropriate the money tonight, or at least get it for the first reading.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to talk about a situation that's been developing on River Road on the weekends, south of where Creek Road intersects, and you go south quite a ways. North of Rigglesville, there's a stretch. The cliffs come down, and the tip of an island is in the river. And it's a very popular place. There's a lot of large rock outcroppings. And that has become a very popular place on weekends. On weekends, if you drive down that road, you can see between 8 and 12 pickup trucks parked there. They have trailers for jet skis, and they make room for their vehicles. They'll pick up the trailer for the jet ski and put it on the side of the mountain there just so that they can park all their cars. But what happens, well, in the wake of this past weekend, you would not believe the garbage down there. Just all over the place. Beer boxes, bags of garbage, cups from those people that come and spend the weekend there. They unload firewood, they unload their jet ski, they go over to the island and camp, and when they come back, they just leave a big mess. And it's the same group because I've seen the same vehicles in that jet ski trailer park. 2 weeks ago, when I was coming home from my job Sunday morning up the road, they had not only the cars parked on against the mountainside, but they had new people that had arrived before I went to church that were parked almost on the railroad. They must have been out-of-towners, I don't know, and of course the wine train is active. So I made a call to dispatch to let them know there was an unsafe situation. You can only squeeze one vehicle between them, but they were straddling the railroad tracks. So I don't know if we need a sign active tracks. So, if nobody lets I don't know if the police came out and told them to move their cars or not, but, it's quite a busy situation down there. So, maybe it needs, somebody to patrol it on the weekends, or I don't know how we solve that problem, the littering.
There's more cars than 10. I talked to Wendy about it today, and she's going to look up the property owner. I don't know who owns this property, but it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
It's probably owned by the railroad because
It's
it's
gonna be railroad.
It is.
property,
Gotta be.
because they even own
It's
all
gotta
the
be.
folks.
That would be the one
Yeah.
whose property they were using to get access, that's what you would ask me. today.
Oh, going down to the
I'm not sure
rocks?
how they were, whose property they're using to get access to the river. So.
Yeah, there's not much of a bank down. Then the river starts.
Township in at the launch, coming back up a half mile, whatever it is. Or, I know she says it's at 44 road. So they're putting it in down below the boat ranch area.
Yeah, so you guys have been past them with all those cars
Not
there?
working those days,
Yeah.
but yes, I have.
Yeah.
We were called last weekend there. We are aware of it. The problem that we run into is that the garbage, yes, they do leave it, but when we're there, they're not actively throwing the garbage. You know what I mean? So until they pick everything up and leave, yes, absolutely, I agree 100%. It is a mess. So we are aware of it, and we are trying to come up with something to make it right for the community.
Well,
I was thinking maybe a nice proactive sign, like, enjoy our lovely township and please clean up after yourself, instead
Oh,
of having,
Say that, enjoy.
we know
some people do,
what I would do is whoever's working, they probably leave, what, Sunday, I'd imagine?
Sunday, yeah, probably Sunday.
How many guys are on Sunday? Yeah. No, one? Well, maybe if we could make a point to have one, or if there's a way to have another one be there, go down and say, like, as, around 10 or 11 and say, throw the lights on. They're going to be like, what the heck's going on? And if it's the same people, be like, hey, can you pick up your trash? And hopefully everyone's cool and they'll pick it up. And if they don't next time, we'll find something to get them with. But I think if we were to ask them, hey, like, people have been leaving stuff here, if you guys could help us out and you clean up your trash, we're not saying it was you.
Is it railroad property?
Yeah,
Trash is?
yeah,
Okay.
right, yeah, that's right.
Okay. Would it be possible for the railroad to put up no littering signs?
We could ask them
You're actually leaving all this junk right at township ordinance signs.
about littering.
Kind of like getting us the.
I'm not defending these folks. I have personal experience, my wife has as well. Then drive back up river with bags full of garbage in the truck. I'm guessing this is the excess. I don't know. But they do leave a significant amount of garbage. The problem is when we control it, really, it's dumb enough to do it from us.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
You know what I mean? And even a matter of, we discussed different strategies, but going through and getting plates, all cars that are on that strip. You still have to identify the person, the actor. That's part of the
Would the railroad possibly do cameras?
No. They won't. I know it's
Good
expensive.
idea.
Yeah, it's expensive, but they can.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have no money,
Why does they need to pay for it? It's just.
I'm paying for it with
Even if
the
they
tax
take a lot of
money.
the trash away, but then who's supposed to take away what they leave behind? I mean, whose job is that? That's just.
Well, I don't think it hurts to ask. And then if we'll see what kind of reaction we get. If it keeps happening, then we'll have to identify, tougher ways to handle
Did
it.
they put no trespassing signs up?
Well, no, because we've tried that,
Oh,
and that's the rail.
No,
The rail. Oh,
the railroad put no trespassing signs up.
they could, but then that's up to them to enforce it, and then they have to call the police to say that they're trespassing. We ran into that problem before.
Then you run into the problem of if Chris Cotty put signs all over, the road is wide enough for people to park on the side of the road. You don't have the noise from that. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Then people will just move out and park it away.
No, I'm just thinking of the trash part of it. And if you had no trespassing, then they couldn't be crossing that property.
But they won't sign things.
Yeah, that's the other problem. They don't sign the complaint, and then it's.
How about the property maintenance rules? So if you're allowing people to park on your property and leave all the trash, then go after them.
That's an idea.
Exempt, I'm not sure if it's federal, but.
Doesn't hurt to look. That's a good idea.
Got enough to do.
Yeah, but how can we charge for a permit that's not our property? They don't listen to us, why should we bother listening to them?
Just.
Right?
We will try to, this weekend we will make a presence down there.
I bet if you had them all towed, they'd listen in a hurry.
Well, the thing, I think that's where you go if it doesn't work. But if they are like, if you involve them, I know you will.
I think we can put up signs all year long that people get used to them.
That's the problem. Sign pollution. Yeah, they don't even read the sign.
Right.
Yeah.
They disregard them.
Well, speaking of signs, I had a businessman in the township call me 2 weeks ago who was mentioning that the railroad had a sign up on the bridge that goes over Carpentersville Road where High Street and Carpentersville Road intersects, and it's advertising the KNIGHT train, the night train. Yeah. Yeah, so I said, well, our zoning officer is great. I'll give him a call, which I did. I called Joe, and Joe investigated and found that the railroad has a permit from the Toll Bridge Commission, the Delaware River Toll Bridge Commission, and I was wondering about the fact that the township has a no billboard ordinance, right? And does that trump it? Or, you know, I just thought maybe you might want to look into that.
It's not their property though, where it is. They still have-
Technically,
Bridge Commission property.
technically the bridge is, I think.
That's what they told me anyway. I looked at it, owns the bridge.
But shouldn't they be respectful of the township ordinances for billboards, no billboards?
The Bridge Commission, they're their own entity.
Can we get a copy of that, Joe? Do you have a copy of that, or who you spoke to and what the permit they received was? Okay.
Okay, regarding the soil runoff that was discussed earlier with that farm, when I went to a county ag board meeting back in March, the Corey Tierney, the board secretary / attorney, gave a report on soil management practices of farmers, and they had gone around and inspected all the farms in the county, and it was like February for soil conservation farming practices. And I thought, well, that's something. You know, there's lots of snow on the ground. What could they ascertain in February? And so I had been at a historical meeting where a couple residents in Finesville were complaining about the runoff that had come down from the mountain and gone across the street in Finesville. And so after that meeting, I talked to Corey about the fact that these people had this runoff issue, and he says, well, they should contact the soil conservation people, and they should be taking care of it. So I think if these people still have problems and they're not getting anything from soil conservation, talk to Corey Tierney, because he was the one who presented that report at the county ag board regarding.
Corey doesn't have any enforcing ability. Soil conservation.
No, but he may help things going.
I've talked to him myself also, and I said he's referred me over to Dan Mole over at Soil Conservation, who I had a lengthy talk with. He referred me down to the state. He said I should get after the state actually has a, how would I say, a liaison for this end of the world up here that I do know. So my next phone call is going to be to him. He actually also is an inspector that goes out and inspects preserve farms, just like Corey does.
Okay.
But that would be my next group. What I was told, particularly on the one farm, and I don't want to use names, but they inspected it in the summertime, and it was in compliance at the summertime. And that what I was told that these farms, if there's a problem, you know, they need to be looked at when the problem occurs. If it's in the springtime after tillage is done, or in the fall after things are removed, that's when they need to have somebody from the agency look at it if there's a problem. Not on a random inspection, you know, like you said, in February, you know, or the middle of winter, or the middle of summer. That's what was told to me.
Is there ever, Dave, those soil curtains that they put up when they have construction sites that help keep the soil in place? Is something like that ever done in farming and locations like that? Where
They've staked bales quicker than they'll do that. I know what you're talking about, the soil mat. But the problem is that's just a Band-Aid. They need to address the issue, you know, why the water's getting concentrated and picking up speed and eroding things. You know, whether it's need to be a buffer put in, or a waterway, or a sod, or whatever, slow it down, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it's too bad. Like nothing's being corrected on that situation for those people.
Right. No, I agree. And as I said, my next call is going to be to Gary Pahorley at the state and see what Gary can do for us. And I said that was coming right from soil conservation. I guess he's the chief up there, Dan Mall.
Okay. All right, thank you. And my last question is regarding an update on the railroad. I've been following the issue, and it was supposed to go before the county ag board on several occasions. They were going to we applied for farmland certification, including the railroad lot, and then that didn't happen. They decided they would bypass the county board and go to state mediation, and then the state didn't want to hear it, and so then it was going back to the county ag board, and then the county ag board let me know that the application has been withdrawn and they're seeking other mediation. So I'm very curious as to what this other mediation is, because it's no longer at the county ag board level. It's not at the state ag board level. So it seems like it's back in the township. You mentioned earlier that you're going to be meeting with them. And I just wondered what's being mediated if they're not coming back before the land use board.
It's with the state. The state is the mediator. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought we were meeting with them.
I believe.
My
this-
understanding from the county ag board secretary, that was not happening.
I was under the impression the state was involved. That was my impression.
Because
When-
I had gotten notice in July that
When
It
did
was-
you talk to Teresa?
last week, she emailed me actually.
And what was her comment? That it's
That
no
they're-
longer in either party's hands?
No, they're seeking other mediation.
I was under the impression the state was involved, it was under the SADC, and they were going to mediate it out between the township and the railroad. I don't know. I can
Kevin's
follow up
report.
with that and see where that.
No, it's Kevin's report. It was in there. Just before.
I said I can call and talk to Teresa too, but that was my impression.
And I had my attorney call and check things out too.
You say it's in Kevin's report? Kevin?
Yeah, Township Subcommittee.
No, it is. Kevin says that the Railroad Council, Juliet Hirsch, would like to informally meet with the township subcommittee, which he believes was Marion Day. They proposed some dates which have been circulated and
The one
all
before.
hooked up, so now we're looking for something in September.
The one before that. There's one before, like the email he initially sent looking for dates.
Yeah, and we were trying to do it this week. No, next week. They wanted to take a few days off, and then they don't have anything available, so now they're pushing it off.
Yeah, this would be, like you said, it's the township, the railroad council.
They've withdrawn their commercial farm certification, the Snyder farm that's been withdrawn. So it's no longer necessary for them to go before the county ag board or the state ag board because they're not a certified farm anymore. So now they're seeking other mediation. And so it seems like it's back at the township level. And I just want to know what's going to happen with that. Like we have the land use board and so forth. So.
I think we have to know who we're meeting with and what, and I think this is an initial discussion with them.
I mean, if it's
Because I
kicked
know-
back to us, then we're going to throw it right to the land use board then.
Yeah, that's where it
That
would
be the
go.
right procedure, other than meeting with them.
Right,
talking.
if they're not
Why
going to
have
take the
meetings?
right to farm act or right to farm approach through the county, they're going to need variance relief. That would be my understanding.
And both boards have publicly stated they can't hear it. So it has to at this point.
Okay,
Right, I mean, we tried to meet with them, Jim and I, before on an informal type approach. And we told them what they needed to do and they didn't listen. Am I correct in saying that, Jim, or?
Yeah, well, on this one, it would be with, I think Keen was coming. Keen Baranga was going to come.
Right, but he was
Right.
coming in a,
Informal.
right. I guess all we can do is meet with them and see what they have to say and then proceed from there. At this point.
And what their reasoning is for withdrawing everything. But until we get a date to meet with them,
Well, we just need to keep pushing for a date, that's all.
yeah, which I believe they did send, or we sent them dates, is that correct?
Yeah, we were trying to get something set up for this week, but but then, once I did it, I got an email back from Kevin saying that their office was all booked up and they would have to get us some other dates for the month. of
Whose
December.
office? Kevin's office?
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin's or theirs?
Kevin's, it came from Kevin.
Yeah, I know, but he was speaking to their attorney, right? I thought it was
We have
from,
hers, yeah.
I thought it was from their side they weren't available.
Yeah, they're not available.
Not
Her,
Kevin.
right.
They're not available. Kevin said they are going to get us other dates in September for us to choose from.
All right, make sure we stay on top of that we get at least an initial meeting to see what their plans are, what their approach.
Well, date of the council meeting, Kevin's open, so, or he should be.
Are these mediations, are minutes taken? There's no record of what, is there any action or any decisions made at
No,
these meetings?
they can't do it.
I mean, we can only, I would think, make recommendations or.
They've done a great job at stalling, you know. We had the public hearing a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago, we had that public hearing. It's coming up on the anniversary of that. They've gotten their whole season in. All right, well, thank you.
Here. Is there any other public comment?
Dominic Adjusted Mountain Road. I just wanted to add, if I'm not mistaken, I thought years ago there was an ordinance in Lower Pohat that there was no overnight parking. I don't know if that ordinance is still in effect or not, and if that's something that could apply to the parking on River Road.
God, are these vehicles there overnight down there along the river?
Well, on public property, though. So that would be, that's technically private, that's
Yeah,
the
they're on
issue.
railroad property, they're not on.
They're parking on railroad property? Because I've been down there occasionally, and I've seen parking on both sides of the road, against the tracks and also the opposite side where the cliffs are.
Right, but supposedly the railroad owns a portion of those cliffs too.
I see.
Yeah, they go on to the other side of the road, too,
Okay.
which is odd.
Isn't that a lot of the
Mhm.
preventing us from enforcing anything that would be in our local ordinance? That's what it is.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. That's right. Any other public comment? All right, we need a, probably,
We go into executive
which would be
Ernie.
personnel and contractual. Probably this will take no more than a half hour, and action may or may not be taken. Yeah.
We have a motion.
I
No, we-
moved it.
I'll second it.
Nate Slack,
actually, Wendy,
Dan Root,
Yes.
yeah,
and Kelly
because we gotta,
Kern.
we gotta review your, yes. We have to, great to be here.
Who's the second?
Me.
Okay, is everybody in favor?
Aye. No Sal yet. It's gone rogue. There was 2 items discussed in executive session. Both were personnel and contractual matters. No action. Do we have to take any action? You're going to do all that? Okay. All right, so no action will be taken. There was an item that has been missed from our discussion, but I think everyone is in agreement with the DPW contract, labor contract settlement. You see that email?
Yeah, but did they come through with, there was something of their choosing in there? Did you get
Yeah, they
specifically what-
picked Columbus and,
Oh, that's right.
Columbus election, yeah.
But tell them, even though that's not going to be a holiday, we expect them to go vote.
It's a hell of a condition there, Mary. Okay, so is there a motion for that approval then?
I'll make that motion.
And since Frank is absent, I will be his second.
okay, so Slack,
Yes.
Yes.
Kern,
Yes,
and I'll just put Sal asking for a vote.
that looks perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Any announcements?
there are no other
I
announcements?
move we adjourn. that okay?
That is great.
You know what, let's just say we're gonna raise notice some employees for this September 1 meeting,
Okay. Do we need to say who?
No. The
No,
idea of
okay.
racing is.
Then we'll be rice noting.
those things, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Do you need a motion for that? To erase those?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay, great.
it's done, it's just done.
Okay.
Okay, so we just adjourned.
No, we didn't. We made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You just like to do.
Oh.
Oh, I don't get to do it anymore. These meetings aren't fun.
Okay. We didn't talk about